I never thought I'd be standing in line at a tiny LA coffee shop when Sandra Bullock turned to me, smiled, and asked if I could spot her cash for a latte. What happened after that? It changed everything. I'll start with this. If you ever told me I'd lend Sandra Bullock cash for coffee in some cramped little LA cafe on a Tuesday morning, I would have laughed in your face. Like, yeah right, sure, Sandra Bullock, Academy Award winner, box office queen, needs my wrinkled $10 bill for caffeine. But it happened, and the way it went down, it still feels like a fever dream I can't quite shake. So, picture this. It's early morning in Silver Lake, Los Angeles. The sun's already beating down on Sunset Boulevard. Traffic's backed up like always, and I'm running late for work, well, late-ish. I duck into Intelligentsia Coffee, that hipster temple of overpriced lattes and oat milk devotion. The line's long, baristas are moving like caffeinated soldiers, and the smell of espresso is so strong you can practically chew it. I'm half asleep, scrolling on my phone, when someone slips into line right behind me. At first, I don't notice. Just another person in LA wearing sunglasses indoors. But then I hear her voice low, smooth. The kind of voice that makes you whip your head around, because it's instantly familiar. And holy sh*t, it's Sandra freakin' Bullock. She's dressed down, baseball cap pulled low, a dark bomber jacket, jeans, sneakers. The kind of outfit that screams, please, for the love of God, don't recognize me. But she's Sandra. You can't not. She's quiet, polite, just scrolling her phone like the rest of us. People in line glance, do double takes, whisper, but nobody says anything. LA rule number 1. You pretend celebrities are invisible, unless you want to look like a tourist from Ohio. Finally, it's her turn at the counter. She orders something simple, think it was just a latte with almond milk. The barista rings her up, swipes her card. Nothing. Swipe again. Still nothing. Sandra chuckles awkwardly, tries another card. Declined. You can see the panic flicker across her face, but she's Sandra Bullock, so she's doing her best. Haha. Oh, technology act. The barista shrugs. The line gets impatient. Sandra looks around, almost embarrassed, and her eyes land on me. Hey, she says softly, tilting her head with that signature smile. This is awkward, but can I borrow a few bucks? Just for the coffee. I'll pay you back, promise. And here's the thing I didn't even think. My hand just went to my wallet. I pulled out a crumpled 10 and slapped it on the counter. Don't worry about it, I muttered, trying not to sound like some starstruck idiot. Sandra gives me that warm, grateful smile, the one you've seen in movies, but somehow it feels realer up close. You're a lifesaver. Seriously, I'll make sure it gets back to you. I laugh. Yeah, sure. Sandra Bullock owes me coffee money. Sounds like a Reddit post already. She grins at that, takes her latte, and slides off to the side. No entourage, no manager rushing in, no Hollywood bullshit. Just her, sipping her coffee like any other person in line. And I'm standing there like, what the actual hell just happened? The rest of my morning is a blur. I keep replaying it in my head. Did I really just lend Sandra Bullock money? Will she actually pay me back? Am I an idiot for not asking for a selfie? My brain won't shut up. By the time I get to work, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I ignore it. Then a text. Thank you again for earlier. I'll return the money today. I freeze. My heart's in my throat. How the hell did she get my number? Did I leave it on the receipt? Did the barista give it to her? Am I about to get scammed by a Sandra Bullock impersonator running some weird coffee con? I text back, cautiously, no problem. Don't worry about it. Seconds later, another text. I insist. It matters to me. I stare at the screen, torn between giddy disbelief and suspicion. Like, okay, either Sandra Bullock just texted me personally, or I'm 2 steps away from wiring money to a Nigerian prince who happens to love rom-coms. At lunch, I tell my coworker Lisa. She practically screams across the break room. Wait, the Sandra Bullock? Did you get a picture? No, I didn't want to be that guy. She rolls her eyes. Idiot. Nobody's gonna believe you. And that's when it hits me. She's right. Without proof, this story is just a story, a wild, too good to be true Reddit thread waiting to happen. But then, around 3 o'clock, My Venmo pings. Payment received. Amount. More than I gave. The note attached. For kindness. My jaw hits the floor. It's not just the money, it's the fact that the sender's name is hidden behind some corporate-sounding LLC. Not Sandra Bullock.
Now imagine what happens next. But before that, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Cause the craziest part is just getting started.
Not even Sandra. Just a sterile business name, like Sunset Productions, or something equally vague. So now I'm spiraling. Was that really her? Or some elaborate stunt? Am I about to end up in a BuzzFeed article titled, "Guy thinks Sandra Bullock borrowed $10 from him, actually just got catfished"? That night, I scroll Reddit, and guess what's trending in Los Angeles? A blurry photo of Sandra at Intelligentsia that same morning. The caption, "Sandra Bullock spotted looking low-key on Sunset today. Cool as hell." And there, in the corner of the frame, barely visible, me, standing at the counter, handing over a bill. My stomach drops. My heart races. My story isn't just mine anymore. And I can feel it, this isn't over. When I woke up the next morning, the first thing I did was check my Venmo again. And there it was, staring back at me, a payment still sitting in my account, sent from some LLC I never heard of. The name was boring as hell, something like Sunset Horizon Entertainment. No Sandra, no S, no cute little coffee cup emoji, just corporate grayness. And that bugged me. Because here's the thing, if it was Sandra Bullock, why not just send it directly? Why funnel it through some production company like I was an unpaid intern? I tried to brush it off, told myself, dude, she's famous. Of course, she doesn't Venmo strangers with her real name. But the more I thought about it, the more it gnawed at me. At work, I mentioned it again to Lisa. She slammed her Red Bull on the desk and practically yelled, "This is shady as hell. You sure it wasn't a scam?" Scam how? I gave her money, then got paid back more than I gave. That's the opposite of a scam. Lisa squinted. Or it's a test. Maybe you're being groomed. Next thing you know, they'll ask you for your bank account or social security number. Jesus, Lisa. But she had a point. It felt too scripted. Too clean. That afternoon, got another text. Same number as before. Got your Venmo? Great. Thank you for letting me make it right. Please don't share publicly, I appreciate privacy. Now, that alone would have been enough to melt my brain. But then, a few minutes later, a second payment hit my account. Smaller this time. Just $5. Same LLC. The note. For kindness. Part 2. I swear, just sat there, staring at my phone, whispering, what the actual FCAC is happening? Why 2 payments? Why the weird message? And why sign S in the text, when the Venmo itself was hidden behind a faceless company name? My paranoia started kicking in. I googled Sunset Horizon Entertainment, a couple of half-baked LinkedIn pages, a vague address in Burbank, and one old press release about consulting for film production. Nothing legit. Nothing that screamed Sandra Bullock. I couldn't shake the feeling I was either part of the most wholesome celebrity encounter ever, or the opening chapter of a Netflix scam documentary. That night, I tried to tell myself to chill, just accept it, enjoy the story. But then Reddit came back to haunt me. Scrolling Los Angeles again, I found a new post. Same calf, same morning, but this time someone wrote, "Weirdest thing, saw Sandra Bullock buying coffee today. Looked like her car didn't work. Some guy covered her. Anyone know if that was real?" And the photo attached? Blurry as hell. Taken from across the street. But you could still make out the scene. Sandra at the counter, the barista looking impatient, and me, right behind her, pulling a bill from my wallet. The comments were a mix of disbelief and chaos. Fake? She doesn't carry cards. She has people for that. No, Sandra's known for doing her own errands. Totally could be her. This screams PR stunt. Or maybe the guy's lying just for karma. That last one burned. Because suddenly, it wasn't just me laughing about my little coffee moment. It was strangers tearing it apart, deciding whether my life was clickbait. Then came the DM. It hit my Reddit inbox around 11 at night. Username hidden. Just a throwaway account with no posts. The message read, Please don't post details about this morning. Respect means everything. You've already been reimbursed. Don't make this a thing. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just a coincidence. Somebody out there knew exactly who I was, exactly what I'd done, and exactly where I'd talked about it. But how? I never posted anything. Not on Reddit, not on Twitter, not even Instagram. The only person I told was Lisa, and she swore she didn't blab. So how the hell did know? I didn't sleep much that night. Every sound outside my window made me jump. I kept checking my phone, half expecting another payment or another cryptic DM. By the time the sun rose, I wasn't just weirded out, I was hooked. Because this wasn't just about $10 anymore. It was about why a woman worth millions, maybe billions, would go through this bizarre effort just to hide something as small as a latte. And part of me couldn't help thinking, maybe this wasn't about coffee at all. By day 3, the story wasn't mine anymore. It started small, a thread on R or Los Angeles that barely cracked 50 upvotes. But by lunch, it was cross-posted to R or celebs, then R or funny. Then some blog called Starwatcher slapped it into an article titled, "Sandra Bullock allegedly borrows coffee money from fan." Suddenly, my phone was buzzing non-stop. Friends texting screenshots. "Bro, is this you?" Lisa calling, screaming into the phone, "You're trending, dumbass." I didn't trend. That wasn't me. That was some guy who lent Sandra Bullock $10 for a latte. That was a meme, and memes don't get to control their own story. The comments were a war zone. Total bullshit. Celebrities don't carry cash or cards. Actually, Sandra's known for being super low-key. Could be real. This guy's lying for clout. Classic karma farming. Maybe it's a PR stunt for her next rom-com, lol. It wasn't just about me anymore, it was about what people needed to believe. Half the world wanted Sandra Bullock to be this down-to-earth queen who sometimes forgets her wallet. The other half wanted me to be a lying Reddit clown. And here's the kicker, I couldn't prove either way. No selfies, no clear receipts, just a blurry background cameo in someone else's photo. That night, I sat on my couch scrolling through endless threads, each one twisting the story into something new. By midnight, I'd been called a scammer, a saint, a paid actor, and even a secret marketing intern at Warner Bros. Then the email hit. It wasn't from Sandra, obviously. It was from a generic Gmail account. No profile pic. Subject line, "Please respect boundaries." The message inside was short, polite, almost too polite. "Stories grow faster than truth. We ask that you refrain from further discussion. Kindness doesn't need an audience. You've been compensated. Let it rest." I slammed my laptop shut so fast my cat bolted off the couch. My pulse was hammering. Because here's the thing, the email knew too much. It referenced compensation. It referenced me stopping. But how the hell did they even get my email? I didn't post it anywhere. I called Lisa, voice shaking. "This isn't just a coincidence anymore. Somebody watching." She laughed nervously. "Congrats, you pissed off Hollywood. Better lawyer up." I tried to laugh too, but it came out hollow. By morning, the news cycle had picked it up. TMZ ran a headline, "Mystery Good Samaritan covers Sandra Bullock's coffee." No names, no faces, just vague speculation and a blurry pic. And that should have been enough, my 15 minutes of anonymous fame. But instead, it felt like the walls were closing in. Because in every article, in every Reddit comment, I could see the same question staring back at me. Was it really her? Or was I just another idiot who wanted to believe? And honestly, I didn't know the answer anymore. By the 4th day, I was ready to forget the whole thing. Delete Reddit, block the texts, pretend I never bought Sandra Bullock a latte. But then the barista handed me something that yanked me straight back in. I'd swung by the cafe again, mostly out of habit, partly because a small, masochistic part of me hoped she might show up again. Same counter, same humming espresso machine, same barista with the ironic mustache. When he slid me my cappuccino, he leaned in and said, "You were here the other morning, right? With, you know." I froze. Yeah, he smirked, pulled a little slip of paper from under the register, and pushed it toward me. "This was left for you." It was a duplicate receipt, the kind they print for records. but scrawled across the back in neat, careful handwriting were 3 words. "Thank you, S." I swear my stomach dropped through the floor. The handwriting didn't look rushed. It didn't look casual. It looked deliberate, almost rehearsed, like something someone had practiced signing for fans. Perfectly legible. A looping S that could have been from a script. I asked the barista, voice tight, "Did she give this to you?" He shrugged. "I just found it. Maybe. I don't know, man. Could be her. Could be someone messing with you." I tucked the slip into my pocket, heart racing, because now, it wasn't just Venmo. It wasn't just DMs. It was physical. That night, while I was still obsessing over the note, another payment pinged my phone. This time, not $10, not 5, just a single dollar. The message attached, "For kindness, part 3, $1, from the same faceless LLC. I stared at it for a long time, the glow of my phone painting my apartment blue. If this was really Sandra, why was she dragging it out like some breadcrumb trail? If it wasn't, who the hell was stringing me along? And why? I lay awake that night, turning the note over and over in my hands, reading those 3 words until they blurred together. "Thank you, S." It should have felt comforting. Instead, it felt like a trap. By now, I was living like a paranoid conspiracy theorist, checking my blinds twice, keeping my phone on silent, then immediately panicking in case I missed another payment. The slip of paper with "Thank you, S" sat on my desk like evidence in some investigation didn't sign up for. That's when the phone rang. Not a text, not a DM, a real call, old school. At nearly 11 p.m., the number came up as no caller ID. I hesitated, thumb hovering. Every bone in my body screamed, "Don't pick up." But curiosity always wins, doesn't it? "Hello?" Voice cracked. For a few seconds, silence. Then a calm, unmistakably female voice. "Hi, I just wanted to say, thank you for the coffee." I froze. The voice was soft, warm, the kind you instantly recognize, even if you haven't heard it in years. And I swear on my life, it sounded like Sandra Bullock. My brain scrambled for words. Yeah, no problem. It was just $10. A gentle laugh. The same laugh I'd heard 1,000 times in interviews, in movies. It wasn't about the money. It was about the kindness. Most people don't do that anymore. Pressed the phone so hard against my ear, it hurt. "Is this really?" She cut me off, her tone suddenly sharper. "Please don't make this a story. Don't post more. Don't chase it. Let it be what it was. A moment, okay?" The line went quiet for a second, like she was waiting for me to promise. I swallowed hard. "Yeah, okay, good." Then, almost like an afterthought, "Take care." Click. Line dead. I sat there on my couch, phone still pressed to my ear, heart racing like I'd just run a mile. It couldn't have been her, could it? It was too perfect. Too scripted. I replayed the call in my head 100 times, dissecting every syllable. Could it have been a voice actor? An AI deepfake prank? Or had Sandra Bullock herself really called some random guy at 11 p.m. to tell him to shut the hell up? I didn't know what scared me more, the idea that it wasn't her, or the idea that it actually was. Because if it was really Sandra, then she knew more about me than I ever wanted a stranger celebrity or not to know. My number, my Reddit, my Venmo, my email. The internet always says, don't meet your heroes. Nobody ever warned me about lending them coffee money. That night, I barely slept. Every creak in the hallway outside sounded like footsteps. Every vibration from my phone made me flinch. I kept expecting another call, another payment, another note. But nothing came. Just silence. And maybe that silence should have been enough. Maybe I should have let it die there, accepted the weirdness as a one-off moment. But something in me wouldn't let go. Because here's the thing. I wanted closure. Proof. A selfie. A signature. Anything to tell me I hadn't just lost my mind. And the more I wanted closure, the more I realized the story was never really in my control. A week later, thought it was over. No new calls. No payments. No notes. The internet had moved on. A new celebrity sighting. A new meme. And my story sank under the waves. I almost started convincing myself it was nothing. Just a weird coincidence. A glitch in the matrix. Then, On a random Wednesday morning, my phone buzzed. 2 notifications, 2 separate Venmo transfers, both from different LLCs, each for exactly $10.01. The notes were identical, for kindness. I stared at them for a long time, my thumb hovering over the screen, heart pounding. 2 payments, 2 companies, 2 identical notes. It was like someone wanted me to know there wasn't just one sender, but a whole system behind this. I showed Lisa later that day. She leaned over my shoulder wide. Okay, this is creepy. Why 2? Why different companies? I laughed, but it came out hollow. Because one wasn't enough to mess with me, I guess. She frowned. Or because it's bigger than you think. That night, I walked to Echo Park Lake just to clear my head. The city was humming around me, traffic lights blinking, joggers passing by with earbuds in. I sat on a bench, staring at the water, the duplicate payments burning a hole in my pocket. And then, like some twisted movie scene, I saw her. A woman in a dark jacket, baseball cap low, walking along the path with a coffee cup in hand. Same height, same posture, same careful, graceful movements. She didn't look at me, didn't break stride, just walked past like I didn't exist. For a split second, I swear our eyes almost met under the brim of that cap. My chest tightened, my brain screamed, it's her. But was it? Or was I just so desperate for closure that I'd see Sandra Bullock in every stranger on the street? I didn't follow, I didn't speak, I just sat there, frozen, while she disappeared into the city glow. Back home, I pulled out the note again. Thank you, S. The handwriting that was too perfect. The Venmo transfers from faceless LLCs. The call that could have been her. Or a really convincing fake. I thought about posting the whole saga on Reddit. Lay it all out. The receipts, the transfers, the texts. Let the internet decide if I was crazy, or chosen, or scam. But then I remembered her voice, soft, warning, almost pleading. Don't make this a story. And maybe she was right. Maybe it was just a moment. A weird, beautiful, messy moment that wasn't meant to be dissected by strangers for karma points. So I closed my laptop. I folded the note back into my wallet. And I decided, at least for now, to let the mystery live. Because in the end, maybe the truth doesn't matter as much as the story we tell ourselves. And my story? I lent Sandra Bullock $10 for coffee. At least, I think I did.